Yo guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a fantastic day. So today we're going to speak about the basics of Blender. This is the first series. This is my first series on like Blender, but it's the first episode of I think 3-4 part series. Now, this series will entail making a model, unwrapping the model, texturing the model, baking the textures, importing it into Mixer, so you will get a little bit of Mixer experience in there, and then exporting the textures from Mixer into Infusion, and then obviously taking the model, setting up the model properly in Blender, and then exporting it to Infusion, and then setting up the model in Infusion with textures and so on with LODs. So what we will be creating is we will be creating a foxhole. I think it's pretty cool, and if everybody knows how to make a foxhole, you can add a little bit of a sneaky touch or an ambushy touch to your map that you're making, or you could just upload it on the workshop, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So this video will just entail the basics. I'm going to show you how to move around, how to go into edit mode, and then we're going to talk about references, and I will show you how to bring references into your model making process, because references are important. Probably one of the most important things when making models. So in Blender, new project, it is 4.3. I recommend you go for 3.6. You can download it on their website. If you go to Blender, and then you go to downloads, okay, and then looking for previous versions. And what you want to do is you want to come here and you want to download the 3.6 version, because this is what will be working with Infusion Engine. Okay, right down here, Infusion. This one. It's not too old. It's not too old, but I like using 4.1. And this is the references. We'll get to that in a second. Now, launching a new project in Blender, it may seem a little bit, what's it called? Intimidating, looking at the software, seeing all of these little buttons and things. I mean, I know it is very intimidating, but let's start with the basics. We're going to take the middle mouse button and you're going to click it and move your mouse left to right, up and down. This is how you rotate around your objects, okay? Now, rotating around your objects you will be doing quite often, because you will be wanting to see what's going on at the bottom, at the top, and so forth. Now, when you hold down Shift and then middle mouse button, you move from the left to right in a, well, 2D way. So you can move left, right, up, down, but you don't change too much of whatever. So this is good if you're scrolled in and you want to move to the side a little bit, select something here, and then move to the side a bit, select something there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's also, you use it quite often. Then another one that I don't really use, I use more scroll wheel in and out, but if you hold down Control, hold down middle mouse button, and move your mouse from forward to back, you see that you zoom in. Now, I don't really use that as often, but yeah, you can use it if you want it. And then at the top here, you've got your little gizmo. Now, if you can see that we've got Z, X, Y, minus Z, and minus Z and minus X. This comes in when you've got, want to see something from the front, from the side, from the top, from the bottom, left, and from the back. Now, there are a few ways to have this quickly set up. One way is holding down Alt and holding down Alt and then middle click, and then you've got it from the side right there. Wait, hold up. Scratch that. Don't worry about the Alt thing. I'll show you a much better way. It's a much better way. So if you press the tilde key next to your one, you'll see, and above the tab, you'll see a little tilde key. If you press that, it'll bring up this freaking amazing menu that I only discovered like a few months ago. And I started using this when modeling cars and other very intricate things when you use blueprints. Now, you can easily select the top view, go back into here. Now I want to see it from the right view, easy peasy. Now I want to see it from the left, from the front, from the back, from the bottom, and then camera view as well, which is pretty cool if you want to set up a scene and want to select the camera. So your tilde key, that's your friend right there. That's how you do things when you are modeling cars and anything from a blueprint. Now, I'll get into blueprints in the next video, because that's a little bit more not advanced, but it's the next step that we'll take. So we've covered moving, we've covered the viewing. Now I want to set up your rendering and settings and everything. So we're going to come up here to edit preferences. I'm going to drag this right here. Now interface, easy. Don't worry about any of these. Animation or interface all the way to animation. Add-ons, these are amazing. I always recommend people, once they get into Blender, just hang on. Don't buy any add-ons. Don't go into the Blender market and buy any add-ons, because I want you to experience Blender on almost like a raw form, and then you get add-ons which make it much easier, but you've got to know what you're doing to use the add-ons first. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But if you are an experienced Blender user and you're watching this video, some of the things that I recommend and use consistently is box cutter, hard ops, and machine 3 tools. This about costs you, I think, 40 quid, 40 pounds, so maybe $50. I'm not too sure about the dollar conversion, but this increases your work rate at a significant level, like taking it from slow, having to do slow things, to rather fast. So these 3, amazing. So now I'm going to select enabled add-ons. You don't have to select enable add-ons. All you have to do is you got to search up the ones that I just mentioned. Okay. So if you're going to make any architecture type stuff, Archimesh right here, that's brilliant. You want to add that. So search it up, Archimesh right there. Enable that. What that gives you is it gives you the ability to make interiors. It's amazing. I love it. Scrolling down, and we've got F2. Now search up F2. F2 is amazing. I will quickly show and demonstrate why. So don't worry about this menu. So I'm going to go and delete this. Don't worry about anything I'm doing. I will explain everything. So let's say F2, right? You've enabled F2. What it makes this easy is you select one edge right there, press F and F. So that just makes the whole process so much easier. Whereas previously, you've got to select this one, and then F, and then this one, and then this one, and then F. So basically, when you press F, you make a face. And F2 just makes the process so much faster. Okay, and before I forget, I am going to do my where is my, oh, it's on 3.6, and the next video will be in 3.6, but everything that I'm doing now can be done in 3.6, and 4.1 it doesn't really matter too much. Going back into preferences and add-ons, let's go back down to F2. So now you want to search up loop tools as well. You're gonna need loop tools. It's really nice. Don't use it as often, but it's always nice to have it there. I don't think we will be covering that in this video series. I will try my best to include it. And then Node Wrangler. This we will be using for texturing. Okay. Cable Orator and Speed Retopo. These are paid for add-ons. And then Rigify. Rigify is amazing because it adds rigs to your arsenal, you could say. And that is all that we will be doing in add-ons. I will show you the Rigify in a second. Okay. Now we're going to input. Now this is important because if you don't have a number pad, you want to click this emulate number pad. Now on my previous keyboard I had a beautiful number pad, and now I got myself a little smaller keyboard just for because the old one got a little bit old. But I don't have a keyboard anymore or a number pad, so now I've got to use the 120 on my keyboard instead of my number pad. So that is when you emulate number pad, the 120 will emulate the number pad on the side. If you do have a number pad, just don't click on this one. 3-button mouse. I'm not too sure about about this. I've just got it unselected, so just keep it unselected. And then we've got navigation. Now navigation is a pretty cool system. This is more for sculpting. If you want to get into sculpting and you're watching the video, I have got a 3D connection little move tool, and this allows me to, well, make pretty cool movements. Let me really demonstrate for you guys how cool this is. So now I've got it on here. I've got it on walk, turn, and just pause the video to get all the stuff. If you do have a connection, I highly doubt that you would if you're a beginner. So this allows me to, when I'm sculpting, move the cube around as if I am moving it around with my hand, which is pretty cool. I can twist it, I can twirl it, and all of that things. So that is pretty cool. Then what we've got is we've got key map. We don't have to worry about key map. And then lastly, but not least, we've got the system. Now, CUDA is okay. System OptiIX, that is what I use to run the rendering system. You want to select your GPU and your CPU, and your undo steps, you want to increase this to the max, which is 256. Okay, so that is your undo steps. You do not want to run out of undo steps. It's the worst thing in the world. So make this the max. Come down here. Autosave is enabled, but just for in case, save preferences. Close down this tab. And there we go. So remember, middle mouse button, shift, and so forth. Now we're going to do edit mode. So for you guys, it's just a quick hold, tab. Press the tab button and you go into edit mode. As I've got the add-on, I will be selecting this one. So the add-on that I've got, this is Machina Tools, which makes it so much faster switching in between the different modes. But for you guys, if you do not have Machina Tools, you'll probably start by doing vertices. So these are these little points on the side here, little vertices. And then what you want to do is press 2 on your keyboard. Or come up here and press this button. This will take you to, well, this will take you to edge mode. So you can select edges and move them by pressing G, move them left, right, and so on. And then lastly, you've got your faces. So you select the entire face of the cube. And you can press G to move it up, left, right, and so on. So that is pretty cool. Always remember to save as well. So we've gone over edit mode. We've gone over the basics of edit mode, honestly. This Machina Tools, honestly, I would recommend beginners just to grab it off the Blender market. I think it's still... it's $1. Machina Tools. Machine 3 Tools. They may have changed it actually. Yeah, it's now $5. What it allows you to do is it just allows you to do a lot of nice things and increases your speed of work so much. It is only $5. It depends if you do want it. If you don't want it, I mean, that's all cool. That's all cool. But it just increases the speed if you're gonna go into blendering. I think I said that too much. Anyway, now we've covered the basics. We've covered this side. Pressing N brings up your tools on the right hand side. So you'll have create, and you'll have Archimesh if you added Archimesh. And this will, if you open that up, you'll see room, column, door, and so on. Then we've got your edit, view, tool, and items, which is pretty cool. In the right hand side here, you can see the scale of your model and you can see the dimensions. So this is normally where you want to keep things to real life sizes, so in meters. And I do think somewhere in here, I can't remember exactly how, but somewhere in here you can change the metric system, which is pretty cool. Then lastly, before we move on to references, we're going to go to render, so the render tab right here. I'm going to press N to hide that. Then we're going to see render engine. Click on that, cycles, click on cycles. You're going to select your device from GPU or CPU to GPU compute, and you're set up. That's pretty cool. So anytime that's up here, you've got your anytime that you go to your render mode, which is this little button over here, go into render mode, you'll see that it renders on the top, render done, so it renders. Then next up, you've got your shading. So this is just to see the shading that you've applied to your block without rendering it out. We will be using this for the voxel. And then you've got your wireframe mode, which is also pretty cool. And then you've got your normal mode. A quick way to switch between these is Z. So just press Z or Z, and you click on either of these, wireframe. I switch between these constantly as well when making models. It's very nice and very easy to switch. All right, so we've covered the basics. I hope that I have made it a little bit more clear, whatever, that you can start modeling. So remember, just going into edit mode, coming up here, selecting face, and then these are your gizmos on the left hand side. So move, rotate, scale, transform. And we'll go into these in more detail when we start making the voxel. So you can move these around, pressing S scales, pressing G moves, and then pressing R rotates. Okay, that's a quick shortcut. And then when you press G on the x-axis, it moves it only on the x-axis. On the y-axis, and then on the z, it only moves it on the z-axis. And the same thing applies when you are rotating. So rotating on the x-axis, rotating on the y-axis, rotating on the z-axis as well. The cool thing with rotating is if you type in 90, it rotates it 90 degrees. And or if you 180, that rotates it 180 degrees, and so forth. Then you've got scaling as well. Scaling works exactly the same, X, Y, Z, and you can also scale in quickly, or when holding down Shift for either of these, moving, rotating, or scaling, it moves it in a slower way, okay, which is pretty cool. So that is that for this little lesson. We're going to go over to, I'm going to end the lesson, and then the next one, or not lesson, but the video, and then I'm going to go on to the next video for pure ref and references and everything like that. We're going to set up the references. So thank you very much for watching. Hope I cleared up a few things. Don't worry about any of these on the left hand side. We will cover most of them during the series. Okie dokie. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comment in the description. Make sure, if you want, join the Discord. We've got a lot of very experienced guys in there. Guys making buildings, vehicles, one amazing guy making a Halo mod, which is amazing as well. We've got a lot of talented people in there, so definitely worth checking out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Cheers.